my mama love. You should be ashamed. You should be ashamed. You should be ashamed.
Let's go. Welcome, Jackson, Mississippi, and these United States to Make It Make Sense, Jackson. I'm your co-host, Keanu Perry, aka KP, aka Young Man, alongside your co-host,
Tariq Abdul Tawab.
And welcome back to the fifth day of our
fifth day.
Fifth
This is
week.
it. This is the end of our week. We're getting ready for our weekend here at Make It
Yeah.
Make Sense, Jackson.
Yep. We got what, Saturday, Sunday to ourselves?
Saturday, if you want to put it that way. I don't know if we got Saturday and Sunday to ourselves. We got Saturday and Sunday. That's the family's time usually, the nights and weekends. And then when we can catch a little bit of time, we try to pull up some more information to figure out what's happening, right?
Yeah.
And those weekends fly by, don't they?
Yeah, there's always something new going on, man.
Yeah, I mean, not all the time. This is just like, at your job, if you work for the electric company or the fire department and there's fires all throughout the forest, that's what we're dealing with. In our line of work, we've got to work triple time right now because the powers that be are working triple time.
Yeah, I mean, we doing their job. So, but
which we have no problem doing it.
Yeah,
You know what?
No, it's not a problem.
My manager used to tell me, she would say, Tarek, if I'm doing your job, then somebody doesn't need to be here. And that's what we get into, right?
Yeah.
Somebody doesn't need to be here, Jackson. It's not us.
Well, so that means even if you miss a show, you got time to catch up.
That's right.
And speaking of catching up, like we always do, what you want to do a recap this time, or do you think they catch up?
Yeah, well, no, quick recap. We like to start for any of you all that missed yesterday, and then we like to do any shout outs that we need to do and speak to people. But if you missed yesterday's show, yesterday, I mean, we went and we talked, I think, and we've been on the same theme all week. The water authority that Governor Tate has pushed through into law, which is like a squatter. You know what I mean? I put in a law that I own your house. In reality, I have to give you a lease in order for you to come inside my house. You can write any law you want. This is exactly, guys, like 5 shelters people gather in front of your house and say, we all voted that house is ours. Okay, if you come in my house, I'm going to call the police unless I give you a lease that says you can come in my house. So just to start with, that's what we talked about, just nipping the butt of that our city council is not telling you. And so when a young man is not being facetious, he's not being funny. When the young man says we're doing their job, as a former manager, I take that to heart. We are doing someone else's job. This is information our city council should be coming to us with. This is information our mayor should be coming to us with. Yeah. We shouldn't find out from a young man in his 20s that the city council can push back against the lease, amongst other people saying.
It shouldn't sound new.
It shouldn't sound new. It should be something our city council has rhetorically done. Yeah. But so that's something we talked about. I think that one of the things that are concerned, we touched on yesterday, and a lot of the audience kind of chimed in on it, is just the city council continuously showing us that they're not equipped for the job, which is very, very, very shocking. Right. And so, when I was just say you're a manager of folks on the phone taking calls, right? If they've been taking calls for a year, then at that year's point, there's certain things they understand about those calls that come in, and they should understand if you're doing your job, they should understand because they're getting the calls. So our city council is starting to say things that just makes me wonder. The median salary in Jackson is $40,000 per year. Hopefully it goes up, but that's the median we're talking about, give or take, right? City council gets $20,000 a year, so that's half of what the average person in Jackson earns. You've got folks on that city council that have been there from 10, 20, 30 years, right? You only got 2 brand new members, I believe. Why are they acting like they don't understand the basic tenets of being on a city council? And that was the biggest thing that came up yesterday. What we were talking about specifically was the deadline to push back against the 12% increase, which is going to garner about another $20 million for the Jackson Water and the third-party manager. It's a lot of money flowing, just not to us, right? The city council, you remember, missed the deadline for pushing back against that. And then they all started playing Who's on First. And I hope if you're younger and you don't know what that is, look up Who's on First. But they started playing point the finger, point the blame, even though they all shared a good book bag full of that blame, right?
Yeah.
Everybody hoping that the other one maybe wouldn't see where they were doing.
I don't like that they know that y'all don't know the difference of them not knowing and knowing. You know what I'm saying? Because
That's the biggest.
you got to pay attention to the stuff that they did know. At some point, you gotta trace your steps back to well, you was here though. So why wouldn't you know about this?
Yeah.
You know
gotta
what I'm
find
saying?
your stuff.
You gotta find your stuff. You know what I'm saying? Don't always depend on us. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I spoke to.
But you can depend on us. He gonna run us off here. I'm just messing. I know what you're saying. I'm joking, KP. Do your own research is what the young man is saying. No, I'm messing with you. Do your own research. I support you 100%.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Do your own due diligence.
Yes.
But we always gonna be here for y'all. Let me say
That's
that.
right.
We
That's
never
right.
gonna
Do
leave.
your own diligence. We've been screaming that from day one.
We gonna need y'all too at some point.
That's true.
Soon. Right now.
The way we talking, we gonna need you soon, right? We gonna need you to come do a barrier around whatever station we at before they come in and sweep us out of there. Because that type of truth just hurts. But yeah, man, I agree with you 100%. And you look at the for example, I give you 2 examples. I was it was such a short time, but I worked in the city in the public works department as a deputy director. You look at the city council. If you're a shift manager, let's go down this. I worked at Wendy's. I worked at Pizza. Let's go to some jobs in my early career, right? Yeah. If you're a shift manager at Pizza, you understand that oven, when to turn it on, when to turn it off. Yeah. Maybe you don't understand how to balance the entire budget to pay everybody through that whole thing. That's the store manager. But you understand how to turn the oven on and off, whether the pizza is done or not. Those basic things, right? So first, you have a city council that just misses a deadline and says he should have told me. People of great expertise. Again, we're not going to go deep into it, but realtors, lawyers, people that went to West Point, 1% acceptance rate. These are the background of your city council. Parkinson, 3-4 degrees. Grizel, 2-3 degrees. This is the background of your this playing stupid in front of your face to act like we didn't know. Why didn't John tell us? You got too much education for that, buddy. Go let some of the folks with GEDs like myself come push down. I should be able to say that, but I say anything, I get attacked. You think I got the 4 degrees they have? Ha. That's a whole nother conversation. But you got all this information for 10, 15. How long has Grizel been on city council? Let's back up. How long has Foote? Let's back up. We'll go top down. How long has Stokes been on city council? How long has Foote been on city council? How long has Grizel been on city council? How long has Hartley been on city council? There's a fifth.
Oh, look, Keisha, the girl.
She's new. Parkinson's new. I said Foote and Tina's new. She's relatively new. So those 4 you have right. How long have they been on it? So you notice I just said Tina Clay's relatively new. So now let's move to the next thing. So the last article, Jackson revenue is falling short in the middle of the budget year. The city council wants to know why. Brother, sisters, you in trouble. Listen, this isn't even funny. That's like the article reads, KP's blood pressure is dropping. His doctor wants to know why. Shit, if his doctor's confused, KP's in trouble. If that's the article, not his doctor is exploring different avenues of what may be causing this, but KP's blood pressure's high, his doctor wants to know why. Tarek having seizures, his doctor wants to know why. Not he's looking and he's going to find out. The fact that at this point in the game, when we are at the risk of losing every cash-making asset, the city council is asking, why do we have a budget shortfall? You've already missed the deadline. You weren't able to do the Vernon Hartley. DeKeith Stamps came to you and said a rate case would give us a chance. It would at least stop the water authority bill from flowing as quickly. Vernon Hartley took the show down. Don't tell nobody. We already saw it, Vernon. God, I don't think they understand how technology works sometimes. Some of these older cats. And you put it up, we're watching it. You can't just hit delete and we forget we saw it. But that's what he tried to do anyhow. So all of these things are flowing. They're dropping the ball. Then the water authority comes. They back the mayor and say the water authority is the best thing. We're going to have control. We lose all control. And then the revenue's falling short. And this is the part that killed me. Tina Clay is the one that said the problem is in Munis, which I'm somewhat familiar with having worked for the city, right? Munis is not a new system. And any of you all the city know it's been there a long time. If your car, you got to roll the window up, KP, from the outside, you can't keep telling people it rained on me because my windows broke. Well, you knew it broke for 20 years, and you knew how to roll it up from the outside. So stop telling me that it's wet because your window was broke, even though you knew the workaround. See, what folks want to do in the city is talk about a system like Munis you've been using for 20 plus years, pretend that you don't understand why there are problems and that they're there, and then use that as an excuse. Well, if this is twofold, with people getting paid, if you knew that was a problem for 20 years, then you should have already figured out a way around it to explain it. And now you have Tina Clay saying, I understand how to read it. She just got there. And Foote's like, well, it doesn't make sense to me. Hey, if you like it, I love it. Foote been there. How long has Foote been in city council?
I don't know.
Tina figured it out in a year.
A year.
A year she's been there.
And she's new.
That the Munis will show positives and negatives sometimes. And so you got to read it a different way. Right? Now you went to West Point. I'm gonna talk about. You went to West Point. 1% acceptance rate. Who got you in there now? We need to ask some other questions now. West Point, tag us. Make it make sense, Jackson. Put in records. There's no statute of limitation for somebody lying about getting into a school. Folks lose their careers all the time about doing that. And I've got questions. That's all I'm saying. Because how you get in? So you beat 99% of the people going into West Point out, and you don't understand Munis 20 years in. You got to be kidding me. But Tina Clay, a realtor, and I'm not knocking the sister. That's what you like to do, Foot. Tina Clay is a realtor. So West Point, you got to understand how to bomb countries, how to take over populations, how to stop their water supply, how to start their water supply, how to help if we're removing regimes and replacing them. But this positive negative thing got Foot. But you got in there. Anyways, I'm not going to sit on that. I just want y'all to just taste it a little bit, especially Ward 1, because y'all been trying to get him out of there for a while. So I was very surprised that Ward 1 sat by while he did that redistricting and stayed in there. Because even some of his Republican folks want him out of there because they say he don't answer the phone and he only shows up when it's election time. That's what they say on a lot of the comments in that area. Absolutely. But jumping back to what I'm saying, how does Tina Clay tell you, Foot, you, Stokes, the rest of you all, we need to teach them. This is what she said. We need to teach them how to read Munis. Those little red flags. If the newest person is teaching the oldest people how to do it, well, maybe that's your problem right there over the last 20, 30 years. Maybe it hasn't been the dope. Maybe it hasn't been the dope, Mr. Stokes.
Maybe it has.
Or maybe it has. It's just the wrong people we worried about. Someone's smoking dope, but it's not everybody you point the finger at. And you know what? Whoever said it, let it. That's the old thing. You know, when we were young, we had a lot more intelligence at 6 or 7 than a lot of us have now. If someone passed gas, whoever said it, let it. And that was a good way to throw attention away from you if you really did it, right? You was the first one yelling. Whoever said it, let it. Why did he say something? He said something because he's stifling. He's choking on your past gas. And you are quick to throw the shade. Whoever said it, let it. That's what they do. And they think it's going to go over you, right? Now, Stokes is the same one that can't read Munis. That said that Chief Brackney was much too qualified and too charming to be the police chief of Jackson. Well, now we get that. We see what overqualified is to you because you think that you should not be able to read Munis after 20 years. So to you, that she's too qualified. She's talking about plans and writing things down with pens and paper.
I just, because some people probably don't understand what Munis is.
I'm sorry, you're right. That hits hardest with city workers. So Munis is a system that the city of Jackson uses that a lot of folks within the system and outside of the system have complained about for decades, right? For however long it's used. You can use it to insert tickets to spread throughout the city and to tell different departments. If you're a public works, deputy director, then you would oversee it from the point of the tickets that go out through the public works department. So if you think about it, public works, when I was there, covers all of the facilities owned or maintained by the city. So that means it doesn't matter if you're talking about Shepherd's Gym or if you're talking about the police precinct 4 or Metro. When tickets go out that say a door is broken, there's a flood, the bathroom's not working, those tickets go into a system and then that system kind of spreads them out. But it does a lot of other things like budget.
Oh yeah.
You know,
and they gotta know how to read it.
You have to understand how to read it. But listen.
Yeah.
My Ford Explorer right now, the gas gauge doesn't work.
Yeah.
I bet you I don't break down out of not having gas all the time. Because I understand when it's about to run out.
Yeah.
And I can't see anything. What I'm saying is it's not an excuse 20 years in to say, well, it's a little confusing to read. That's unacceptable.
So if your car telling you you need an oil change, you should know.
You should understand it after driving it for 20 years. If you're a city council member in 20 years or 10 years, because I'm not being exact, 20,000 times 10, what's that, 200,000? It's a racket, boy. That's a racket.
Yeah.
You done made almost $250,000 and you talking about year 15. I don't like the way these numbers look backwards to me. That's what he said. Look at the article. Listen, y'all. Sometimes it's funny while it's painful, but the name of the article is Jackson revenue is falling short in the middle of budget year. The city council wants to know why. And in there, Foot gripes that he doesn't like the way it's backwards after all this time, and he can't see it.
All the things he could see, he came up with. He didn't like the way it.
Because he's just qualified. He feels that Tina Clay is overqualified for being able to figure it out. The nerve of her.
He thinks Brackney is too charming.
These black women got some nerve coming in here with these degrees and with the ability to troubleshoot and think out the box. What is wrm with them? This is the good old way, and I don't like it. They're stroking his hair, starting at the wrong point. Ain't no hair there. Move back a little bit. Yeah, it just bothers me. And this is all real. You may think it's a spite, but that's what he does in here. He'll start at places where there's no hair. So I'm not, if you're going to insult our sisters continuously, and none of those weak brothers sitting up there with her are going to say anything, and I don't have to agree with her on anything, but anytime you call any black woman a woman of color, too charming or too qualified to work at a place. We're going to remind people of the 1940s Mississippi, 1950s. The moment you had to give black people the ability to know certain things or to be in certain trades, you found ways to block them out. And one of those ways was to make sure they would never get hired in the field they actually went to school for. If they had the nerve to leave Mississippi, go get educated somewhere where they were allowed, then come back. You weren't going to come back to Mississippi and be a pharmacist. So now you need to feed your family. Now you just want to go work on a shift cutting down trees. Oh, I looked at your resume, Mr. Perry. You're a pharmacist. You're just overqualified. The hell, me being a pharmacist got to do with me chopping a damn tree and picking it up. That's how they kept us out of the workforce. This is all legitimate, historical. So when Ashby Foote said that woman's overqualified, that was a direct blast to his Confederate past. And he's a Confederate sympathizer, goes to the things. I'm not disparaging anyone. If you're proud of it, be proud of it when we talk about it. Go look at the Foote Plantation and how long that legacy is in Mississippi and see what connections you have to our councilman. And then maybe we'll get a better understanding of some of these decisions that are being made and some of these comments that he's making. So I'm never going to leave that alone. That was just insulting. Yeah. And everyone was up there except Stokes missed it as usual. And these things, again, are realistic. And any of you in Jackson know when I say Stokes missed a meeting as usual, you know he's there seemingly he's not there less than he's there. But not one person up there. Grizel pretended he had an earpiece in. He didn't even, and I'm joking, but none of them at Hartley. He's a military man. He should have stood up and said, "Attention, Hut, you don't talk to our sisters like that." Because when he got redistricted out, he said it was a civil rights tragedy then. When he ran around with Foote, trying to get people to get on board with him and Foote, and then he lost in his district. He got more poor people, as he complained about, and Foote lost poor people and then won the election by a sliver. Vernon Hartley then said over at the Pearl Redistricting Center, this is a travesty. Martin Luther King and Medgar Evers, he was just yelling names at that point. He didn't have a point. I don't think he tried to have a point. He just put 4 or 5 names together, at once. Toussaint Louverture, he was just out there yelling names of powerful black people because he lost his way. But I think now we are seeing them in action. Let these sisters see this. Let Women's Roundtable, let these sisters movements that stand up, let them rewind that and say, you know what, hold on a second, the brother's right. That is clearly a racial maneuver. Actually, the White Citizens Council was great for suggesting to their people to use that type of maneuver. The White Citizens Council ensured that if you wanted to vote, we'll make sure, because we're what do they used to call themselves? We're the organized Ku Klux Klan. Yeah. We wear suits and we don't use that type of violence. We just starve you so you can't live in Mississippi. So those were the ones that would encourage businesses to use reasons like that to keep black folks out of work. And that's what Ashby Foote chose to say. That's the beautiful thing about today's technology. He was raised at a time when you didn't have to worry about your words. You could say what you wanted to say about the black community and make little jabs about them, and no one would know.
And how did he say it again?
He said Chief Bragg. Even the newspaper recognized it was inflammatory, like a mammy comment. And they put in the paper just so nobody would turn around and say they didn't. But he said that Chief Braxton was too charming and overqualified to be a police chief. Yeah. She's a damn police chief. Yeah. How are you overqualified when all your qualifications include being a police chief?
Back then, they used to call him mulatto, something like that.
Man, they would call him a lot. I mean, your mixed folk, yeah, they would call him a lot of things. Absolutely. Maybe there was you're absolutely right. Maybe there was a dig at that too, trying to speak to the way she looks. But the charming part, I definitely think I could see that. But that's insulting. And you need to talk about that more than anything sometimes, because when you talk about a city since Dale Danks, and we had a guest, Akil Bakari took us back. Shout out to Akil. Yeah, shout out to Akil. Look how long Foote's been there. Look how long Stokes been there. Look at how things have changed since Dale Danks and why things haven't worked. And maybe as a city, we need to understand better why things aren't working here. I don't think they're not working at all because of us as a community. I think it's not working because we have leaders that are battling for something that is not the goal, our betterment. That's not their goal.
Yeah, I mean, it's more of the people in power. I mean, a lot of people say the reason Jackson is bad is because of the citizens of Jackson. I mean, that's
were just those
that's
people.
Face value problem. You know what I'm saying? You gotta, if you're not willing to dig deeper in that. That's why the conversation I had with my Lyft driver, I was like, a lot of people don't know in Jackson that it's not the citizens of Jackson, because the first person she blamed in Jackson, guess who? Us. Mm-hmm. I was like, well, you gotta understand that it goes higher than that. And I tricked, what I'm saying? I was trying to see what her mind was at first. And she got to talk about, where's the politician? I said, there you go. It's the representative. There you go. And they keep going high. Well, and then she gets to make it. Oh, I make money in Jackson. I said, where you live at? Oh, Madison.
There it is.
There it is.
Not you calling your Lyft driver out. But no.
It's my city. What you thought I want to call
No. It's I do the same thing. I'm sorry. I'm actually proud inside. But say something, and we say it with love, right? Get right. Get right. That's part of the problem is folks to take the money out and go into Madison. And I think then say the problem is, but I don't think your problem is that you're bad as a person. We've talked about this, right, KP? Your problem is that you just don't understand
You don't
what you're
understand.
looking
That's
at.
all I was saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's why I'm bringing them back to understand. That's not an attack. Go ahead.
No, I'm not. That's all. I had to get that out. That's all.
Yeah. But I think I'm good for calling people out in the comments. And in person, and I love just hearing you say that and seeing young people recognize that, because that's where a lot of your problem comes from. With people not loving the city, like people from here not loving it. Yeah.
You complain about the city, but you don't understand the problems of the city. You know what I'm saying? That's all I was saying. And I'm trying to break it down into understanding of people in Jackson. You know what I'm saying? So you tell me the information, I go translate it to him. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
That's all I was saying.
Exactly. No. And then if you do better, you'll do better. But wrapping this one up, our city council should know better. So I'll just say the next thing we see on the horizon now is that our budget is not going to be met. We're $23-24 million above budget, and now the city council doesn't know anything about that either. So we're just at a very to the young man's point. We're at a very, and what amazes me is that people still open their mouth and say young people as the first thing. We're gonna keep. If you're new to us, from making our 90.1 audience learned about 6 months ago that don't call us with that young people first. Talk about the problems, but you need to talk about where they start, not now. You need to talk about if you're going to talk about those problems. But talk about city council working their regular jobs during the day. Now I see how you got 20,000 potentially to throw away. You got city council working their regular jobs and not doing anything in the jobs that they're in for $20,000, $140,000 per year on the taxpayer's pocket. When we come back around, we're going to talk about more about what our politicians are or not doing to move us forward. Yeah. On the second flip side of that break.
A lot more to talk about.
A lot more to talk about. Yes, sir. You're in there. We'll be right back.
The Mississippi Link is an African-American female-owned newspaper with a trusted voice that is highly respected throughout the city, state, and nation. Our motto, Keepers of the Knowledge for People Who Speak the Truth, since 1993. Link significantly influences the thoughts, attitudes, and buying decisions of its readers. Call us at 601-368-8481 for your advertising needs. If you would like to receive a newspaper in the mail each week, our annual subscription is only $52 per year. That is only $1 per week for you to stay informed regarding many stories that you can only get in the Mississippi Link. Sign up today at themississippiLink.com and click on Home Delivery.
SocratesGarrettENT.com is a diversified firm specializing in recycled aggregates and crushed concrete. SocratesGarrettENT.com's recycled materials provide the construction industry with significant economic and environmental benefits by recycling clean concrete rubble into M.DOT grade rock materials. Recycled aggregates and crushed concrete can be applied to driveways, road construction, bank protection, parking lots, general bulk fills, and more. By using SocratesGarrettENT.com's crushed concrete products, anyone from homeowners to general contractors can help reduce landfilled concrete waste, conserve natural resources, and gain significant economic savings on materials and disposal costs. For more information, please call 601-896-0084 or visit us online at SocratesGarrettENT.com.
Welcome back to Make It Make Sense, Jackson. This is the second half of our show today, the ending show of the week. Tag a cousin, tag a friend. This is probably one of the biggest shows of the year for us, and I'll be very honest, not for our fanfare, but because we're at a point in our city where we have one chance to hold on to the biggest money-making resource, or one of, not the biggest money-making resource of our city, our waters. Yeah. So we're going to touch on that in a moment, but we've got two more things we're going to look at. We came from the flip side, just talking about our city council being accomplished people in their own rights, in their own careers, getting paid an additional $20,000 to know certain things. And then at each point in this year, we've watched them, since the new administration has taken place, fail to even be in the fight. Right? To go from saying they didn't know about deadlines, to go from hiding things that they should have told us, like a rate case could have been introduced. We're talking Councilman Hartley, down to supporting a water bill authority that they would later cry about us not having control over, down to missing a deadline to push back against a rate increase. And now You've got folks that have been on there for decades saying they don't understand how to read a system, while folks that have been on there for a year know how to read the system well. And some of those people that don't know how to read the system, Foote, we're talking about Ashby Foote, have had the nerve to say folks like Chief Brackney coming in were too overqualified for the job, which is a racial attempt to keep somebody out of a position, right? That's what that comes from. So the second thing we want to talk about on the second end of that is what it looks like here when you talk about these young people. So this is one shot. We've talked about the school shutting down. We've talked about Redeemer buying the school out, trying to get into a segregationist Mississippi Association of Schools. But we also have to talk about our legislature, right? Which we have, we're not going to go into number 15, 16, a lot more. We have some of the most, one of the states with the most Black representation. So SB 2710, which is a new bill that requires that juveniles 18 and under be charged as adults in circuit court if they commit specific violent crimes while possessing a firearm.
Huh?
Yes, this is the new law that has just passed, if I'm correct. Mississippi Senate Bill 2710 requires juveniles 18 and under to be charged as adults. Now, you understand when the word charge comes in, you're not okay, so when you're talking about a system, and I promise this will be quick, when you're talking about a system that's broke, you watch the Khalil Brown story, you watch all these stories. Most of the brokenness is happening after the person's charged. The charge itself usually puts them in a situation to be broken for life, right? Felony on a high end, or to be not broken for life. County charges maybe up to 5 years. So meaning the charge itself dictates how heavy the damage is to you. If you're being charged incorrectly, or if you're being incorrectly locked up.
Okay, they say they will be tried as adult. They have what?
So the law says Mississippi Senate Bill 2710 requires. This is reminding of truth in sentencing. You cowardly adults. Some of you, and this is why I'm a shout out to Tougaloo, right? Because the sister said to my son, well, we can never get through on making make sense. That's a good thing, sister. And I shout out to all of our callers calling in. But I hope she knows we're on Socrates, on We Believe Digital on Thursdays and Fridays. Or you can get on Facebook, and I know everybody can't do that, and you can make comments. Anytime you tell me that, I'm going to try the most to get you on this line. But understand something when you're at these schools, right? Same thing with Pineywood. Don't you ever, my family has fundraised for Pineywood. I almost got born at Pineywood. That's a whole nother story, right? So don't you ever think I'm attacking an institution. I'm attacking it specifically because of the investment, and because I know for sure that was built for the descendants of African slavery right here in America. That's who that school was built for, hands down. Don't say nothing to me. Pull some documents up because I've got them. My grandparents actually took pictures, right? Yeah. So say something to the folks that's jumping online. Respect to you, sister. But you look at that comment, I shot right back at you. I hope you supporting Pineywood, because over here, we know what Pineywood's about and what it's supposed to be for. So when I see a president and their wife treated as a personal playground, when I see 99% of the students are not descendants of African-American slavery, then I know the game is being played on us. Don't you ever act like I'm attacking Pineywood. Tougaloo, don't you ever act like I'm attacking Tougaloo when I say the graves of ancestors are buried there. But you had 2 votes come out of Tougaloo during the most important election that the whole city crying about right now. Gentrification, a school shutdown, takeover, people about to come to the mayor's house and knock on his door. We ain't got to say it no more, KP. We just sit back and watch because everybody's noticing. Yeah. And you had 2 votes come out of Tougaloo. You got the nerve to say something out your mouth. Don't y'all learn with me that you say something, we're just going to dig deep. If I'm wrong, I can always say I'm wrong, but y'all are foolish sometimes. Instead of just letting the truth lay, you want me to go ahead and set the truth on fire so more people can understand what you're doing over at Tougaloo, what you're doing at Pineywood. Y'all don't get it, but I love it. I love it because it just gives me more opportunity to provide facts, not rumors, not my girlfriend who I didn't like, your sister's wife, my husband. No, facts. Every time you do this, facts pop up on that screen. We're about to merge into the water. That's my cue. But this is the issue that I have when I say Tougaloo, when I say Jackson State, when I say Alcorn, when I say Valley State. If the body is an HBCU, which it is, that body's got to cry out. Yeah. When the head is doing wrong, that body, they do cry out. How do you think I get this information? First off, so when you try to make it look like I'm knocking Tougaloo or Alcorn, you think I don't talk to people that go to that school or went to that school? Just like police, when you see that black police officer there while that white police officer is beating the crap out of the person, how you think the video gets out sometimes?
I mean, they had Charleston White up there. I mean,
oh my God, you had Charleston White up there. If you think that I'm mad at the HBCU Tougaloo when Charleston White's up there acting a fool, but then
a plumb fool, cussing everybody out.
But then you had they didn't want to let the previous man Lumumba speak. You know when I do that, let that sit. You let Charleston White come there and disrespect your whole, and you didn't want, he spoke because his organization stood down, 10 toes down in the community, and the school is an HBCU. The nucleus of the school says, hell no, we're not going for that. We got to focus on who is doing it at Tougaloo, who is pulling the strings. Get him out of there. And I love when you throw a hit dog holler, start hollering. Good. Now we know you hollering, and you're probably the one we need to look at. Thank you. Another comment, please. Oh, are you mad at Pineywood? No, I'm mad at the people in there treating it like it's not Pineywood, like it's Jackson Academy. That's what I'm mad at. Keep talking. Like it's Pillow Academy, like it's Link Academy. One black kid in your school, make it look like Jackson Academy, Piney-Woods. And I'm sorry if that when you're talking, whoever did it, reach out, tell them to stop talking. We can do this every day. When I talk to you, it's already a barrel full of evidence. I'll wait and talk to you. Remember when I said I went to Pineywood and begged the headmaster, don't take these kids to the Dixie Festival? Yeah. I'm going to take them because I work for the Obama administration. I'm just assuming that's why he took him, but for some reason he still took him. My wife and I said, I'll pay for him to go to paintball. Take him somewhere else. It would have hurt me, but I would have done it because you got to prove a point. The previous mayor, I said, y'all want to keep talking about the previous mayor. Well, he sued them so they couldn't put the Dixie board up. So you had to wake up looking at it. Oh, Dixie, for those black Mississippians that understand why the Dixie Parade was created. So I did not have to sit with you niggers. That's why it was created.
And I can remind myself what we did to y'all.
That's why it was created. And those of you from the deep, that are old enough to understand, know why that was created. So as we merge into this next session, please understand, these are the overseers. These are the black slavers right here. Your politicians that are in office while laws like this are being made in I think four black politicians. I don't care if it's your district area or not. Because if you're a parent in a bus line and somebody dragging my child away while she's clearly screaming, and you say, well, I didn't call anybody because, it wasn't my child. Okay. That's all we'll say. You know what that okay means in our community. Okay. So only 4, Rep. Fabian Nelson, Derek Simmons, Sarah Love, and Senator Barrow. Those are the only people that made comments. Now, Senator Barrow expressed frustrations with the legislative direction. What the hell? I don't want it there at all. Drop it. Instead of legislation criminalizing our children more, why don't you create some outlets so that they don't have a need, an opportunity, or an atmosphere to create the crime? So denied. Senator Sarah Love, while not opposing the existence, denied. Senator Derek Simmons, as the Senate Minority Leader, he has generally opposed the tough on crime approach, citing a need for broader social and community-based solutions over increased incarceration. Well, how do you only have one politician saying that? That's what you got to make that make sense. You got, and then Representative Fabian Nelson, he argued that the automatic adult charge are too harsh as currently written and believed decisions should remain with youth court judges. How do you only have 2 people saying something of that much wisdom? Everyone else are black slavers, period. I'm saying it. Tariq Abdul, that's what a black slaver looks like. If you'll trade black bodies for votes or to work across the aisle, you're a slaver. Yeah. So when you say, and I'm going to land this, but when you say, because only them 2 said something, the other 2 don't matter. Only those 2 said something, right? So the rest of them are fine. Okay, well, you know what? These little niggas out of control, man. So you know what? That get them off the street. I ain't got to worry about them.
Don't correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Those are black representatives that said
that. Yeah. So just think about it like this. You have 12 eggs in the carton and 4 cracked, and you want to take a picture of perfect eggs. So you can either turn that other one around and try to fix it and repair it, or you can throw them out. Now switch the eggs with children. That's what they're doing. They're throwing them out of the pool of being children. Under 18, I've got a 5-year. I get emotional easy on this. I don't care what anyone thinks. I've got a 5-year-old. I've got a 20-year-old. I've got a 14-year-old. You don't know what they consider under 18. You got to go back to George, the young man they put in an electric chair. Oh, yeah. We have to. These are babies they're going to charge. And what is a violent crime? If 2 people get into a fight, that's a violent crime. And how do we even know they're guilty? Where are they being held at while they're charged as adults? What experience are they going through? How does this affect them? In a country where this many innocent people have been proven either innocent outright or that they've done dirty things to put them there, how do only 2 black politicians raise hell about it? And I'm going to close that, but that's the problem. And let me tell you something else. The Office of Public Safety has a lot of money. If you say, Tariq, why do you always ride these politicians? Because as a manager, how can I understand how to do your job better? How? I understand the Office of Public Safety has grants in the millions available. Well, not one, but millions available for public safety. So if you're going to take 40 kids like the Strong Arms of Mississippi does, go look them up. When these cowardly black politicians tell you we can't do it, go look up Strong Arms of Mississippi. So you get grant money, and then you take it right to those kids that are having problems, and you provide outlets for them. And the Department of Public Safety has plenty of money. Not one of your legislators have asked for that money. Instead, they sit by and watch why laws like this get passed. So hold them accountable the same way.
That money you were referring to, you talking about the whole collection, like stretched out from the ARPA to the all the way hell unused money, like the
Well,
money.
no, that's separate. This is just the Department of Public Safety is there to ensure that the country has its best chance for the public being safe. We have a shooting and violence problem, people want to say, right?
Yeah.
So that Department of Public Safety, just their funds alone, not the ARPA, not the money for our water system, they have money that our politicians are not looking for. But our politicians are certainly bringing police in. You see, if you see Sheriff Tyree, you see Chief John Horn, you used to see Chief Wade, people feel like something good's about to happen. But they don't know, well, those same efforts could be put towards asking for grants and creating outlets for these children, but it's not being done. And now you have a white supremacist, far-right agenda that recognizes they're not protecting the babies. Time to go get them. They letting us get them everywhere. Hell, John Horn suggested, and Grizel and the rest of them suggested, we hire their babies at 14. What the hell type of parents suggest we hire their child at 14? You telling me you ain't gonna try to get your child in school? So once that happens, once you see the young lady come from the Mississippi Economic Council, and now who birthed Accelerate Mississippi, now you start seeing a shift like, oh, Mississippi's got a labor problem. So John Horn's bringing in Kathy Northington, who came from the Mississippi Economic Council. That's who birthed Accelerate Mississippi, who Governor Tate sits on a strong position over. John brings her in as his chief of staff. So she then has all these connections to Accelerate Mississippi. Next thing you know, now our babies are going to work. And guess who they're going to probably go to work for? Accelerate Mississippi.
Prado Loft.
Yeah, they'll be cleaning up the lofts. They definitely won't have a chance to learn how to be a leasing agent or how to build their own.
No.
And this is our own walking them into it. So when we merge into what they've done, what they're doing now, it's all relative. These are mistakes. It's weaponized incompetence is what it is. When they say, well, John didn't tell me about the deadline, it's weaponized incompetence. When John Horn said, this water authority is the best deal for the city, it's weaponized incompetence. Because this is where it all started.
I wonder what the new police chief think about this situation.
Yeah, and if you went to those meetings, we keep trying to impress you. Please go to the meetings, call us, jump on the line. We want to know about these Capitol Police chases. I hope someone is asking her, because these young boys driving for Capitol are trying to cause a wreck the way it looked to us. Yep. This ain't even necessary. Where they going? Goddamn, Jackson's surrounded. Call Pearl or something. Why are you flying through here like Grand Theft Auto? You just sit in the parking lot as an adult when you see it happening. You don't even pull. I'm 48. I can still fly. I can still do 100. I don't pull out once I see them fly by. I'm just going to wait for another 15 minutes. And I'm talking about 15 minutes. Because the aggressiveness is like, F what people live here. You can never tell me you see a Capitol chase and there's a regard for life at all. And you're in a deeply condensed city.
And when you talk about Capitol police officers like Jeffrey Walker, the man that
smashed the dude's head in the ground. It wasn't even his first case.
Nah. He I think they I don't know if he convicted or he on trial. I forgot. I don't know. But yeah, that and the reason why he did it was he just said because the dude that was getting smart with him or something like that, and that incompetence already, So if you take that same anger he had and now you chase somebody behind the wheel, yeah. I want you to die.
Oh, we all know that when you chase listen, I'm 40. I've had police in my family since I was 10, right? They would tell you, yeah, man, this is what they do. If you make someone chase you, other ways I know this as well as a younger man. If you make them chase you in any city, they're going to beat you up. That's just an understanding. Yeah. That's why when Ronald Green, that man they murdered in Louisiana, when he got pulled out that car before they murdered him and just murdered the man, he kept yelling, I'm sorry, because he knew what was coming. I know what's coming if I'm in that car and I get pulled out. My cousins, my family, we all know what's coming. Yeah. The longer the chase is, the more I'm going to hurt you.
So now that you are tried as a adult, you what was the age?
18.
18. You 18. You adult. I can beat you like an adult.
Oh, no. Now we're talking under 18.
Oh.
That's right. Because now because I know I'm going to charge you as an adult anyways. That's right, young man. That's an excellent point to bring up. I know when these charges hit. And think about this. I just have to be chasing you. And Capitol done shot a woman on the couch, killed Jaden Lewis, killed this young man for no reason, been charged. In Mississippi, that's hard, right? They so egregious, they've been charged. And you got someone telling Chief Brackney that this is unlike Charlottesville, the racist ring she broke up. That's the type of deceit.
Man, this is
Nick
baby-
Lott, stop telling
this
her that
is
stuff if
baby
that's you
food.
telling her. Yeah. I think it's you telling her. But stop telling her that if that's you telling her. It was you that took her to bullies and stuff when she should have been meeting the community. You taking her out to eat barbecue and taking her to car dealerships where she's supposed to be eating. I think that's Nicholas, okay? Stop it, sir. But she doesn't know what's going on. She's trying to wonder what, I mean, she gets to the meeting and now she starts hearing some of this real, you know? And I hope folks are using that opportunity or don't complain about it in 20 years. Don't you try to sit back with your child because KP, his son, my daughter, someone, my 5-year-old gonna pop up. Like, no, you didn't. My daddy said that. Don't try to pop up and act like you didn't know this was happening, that your leader's out here doing this. So we got to call him out on it, right? Because Nick definitely rides home out of Jackson. Even if I don't care if he lives here, them young Republicans, that means ain't here. A big one may be there, but the most of what y'all are doing is not. Right now, they're pushing for something to Trent Lott in them to introduce language by Trent Lott. All the racist right. Oh, if you think I'm calling Mr. Lott out for no reason, right now go look at what his organization does outside of here, and they're pushing for like the wording of all of. They just got together all the most racist Republicans from the history of Mississippi, and they're like, we want their wording in there. Like, don't think I'm talking about the young man because he's light skinned and is a Republican. Neither of the reasons I'm talking about him. Right? I just need you to understand that because one of my children said, "Daddy, don't make people think." No, I'm not. Not at all. Not at all. But you know, we got to start having a problem with some of this that's happening. And to the young man's point, I think that what you see sitting up behind us, right? And this is the difference. I know I talk fast, you know, and I know I try to work on that at times, but there's a lot to say too, right? And
Go back and watch the video.
yeah, go back. Yeah, that's why we put them up on YouTube.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
only
No
put
more excuses.
yeah, no more excuses, and then you can put it in film more. Slow it down. I'm joking, but look behind us, right? This is where we started from. This is why our producer said to you all, "You're being handled, not led. Your leaders are gone, and you have handlers there, right? Because this is the mayoral forum where John Horn, last mayor, Mr. Garrett, all of these people that were running, some I won't mention, were all sitting up on that stage, and they all agreed that Jackson water system should return to the city after repairs, right? And we're going to move through. And all this shows you is just a little timeline of how it happened, right? So we're at a point where we're playing on your emotions, right? You want something new. Lumumba hasn't been doing it. The streets still have potholes. There's still homeless people here. All the things we proactively push on you, we just repeat. They're still happening, right? Virginia College is still run down. Now somebody's talking about fixing it. The streets are all messed up. Now they're fixing it in the areas that they think the voters matter at, right? All of the things that were a problem, all of a sudden they do. Your fire department can't get any money. Now here, take $2 million under John Horn with CCID. All they did was gave him everything that they wouldn't give the last mayor and tricked you into thinking that was progress.
And took it back.
Then took it back. That's the crazy part. They did a yo-yo trick with it, then pulled it back. Here you go, John. And he was staring at that joint like a yellow ball. Oh, just drool coming down, just mesmerized with it. You better know this is what's representing you. Go watch some of the interviews. You know it. This is honest talk. Jackson, too much is happening to us to play around with this. Some of those interviews, he's just rambling on like Trump. That's what the effect I get with John Horn. And you better recognize it before it's too late. Because we all hurting anyways. If I'm a hurt, at least I'm going to yell why I'm hurting. Does you know justice or your children to continue to not yell while we're hurting? 1 month after he's in office, 1 month after he just said, I'm going to keep it private. Remember that's what I'm always talking about? He put Jackson out on a stroll like a $2 whore and told her, shake it up and down and see what we can get. Now, that's the real verbiage behind it. I mean what I say. Mayor looking to, I just told the whole city, fickle and uneducated chumps. That's what he's talking about us. I just told him I'm going to keep it with the city. Ha ha. Now I'm not even going to call my Republicans on a low. I'm going to go ahead and put up a bat signal. Come in, we open for business. This is in the paper. He didn't even try to hide it. Who want to go half on it? What do they say?
No half-seats.
You know, when the older brother and the younger brother, you're going to see on the next slide, when the older brother and the younger brother are talking about something, we got to split this toast apart. Boy, you better be happy you getting a piece, because if she wasn't here, you wouldn't even be getting a piece. That's what the white power establishment said to Senator Horn. I want to move over so you can see, just see, look at him. Look at him. You know how black folk do, they make you look at him. Look at him. Just sorry, got the nerve to not even have a full goatee doing this to us. This is just ridiculous, y'all. And it's starting to get where something got to move you. Humor for something got to move you, because he knows that you're going along with it. He calling him chuckling. I did not tell you they were fickle and uneducated. It's working. Press conference time. I'll call you back. And then he jumps in front of you and just says whatever. So he said they were looking for private and public partnerships, right? Private contracts to govern Jab about to get kicked out for breaking screen to govern Jackson's water, right? But you just said you were going to keep it there. This is the definition of being handled to the point that you're making.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Exact definition of it. And if you keep that the precedent at black excellence, that's what you're gonna get every time. If you don't hold them accountable, that's what you're gonna get.
And that's why we talk about black excellence. There being a difference between black excellence. See, you might have been happy that you had a former senator in. That's not understanding the difference between a necktie and a noose, right?
Right.
And then the next thing, you might have been happy that you had somebody that dressed well. You didn't like your previous mayor's suit, some of you said, or his lineup. You don't want to think, now that's fickle and uneducated if that's a reason you didn't vote for him. I will tell you that. Truth hurts. Let that silence sit. We have a number. We have a chat you can jump into. We don't stop anybody from talking on this platform, right? But truth hurts. You like this new mayor's suit. You didn't like the last mayor's suit, right? That's why some of you voted, because we've talked to people. So the new mayor comes in with a noose on, you think it's a nice suit. First, he tells you, I won't give it away. Vote for me. You vote for him. Get out there. Shake your booty. Let me see if I can get halves on it. He won't get half on it. What's next? Look at this. Look how easy he says this to you. I'm trying to stop laughing,
but he keeps saying that.
I'm sorry. Look at how easy he says this to you, though. If I had another chance to make it, I'd take it. But you told us months ago that you, hands down, we're not going to give the water away. Now you say this is the only option for the city. Good God. You ever talk crackhead behavior? We're gonna stay on this. You ever talk to a crackhead and that price dropped by 800%? You're like, nah, I don't want it because you just dropped too much. I don't even want it no more now. I don't want it. You dropped too low. It's worth way more than that. I don't want it from you because what is this decision making? And that's messed up when us getting mad at the crackhead. Crackhead be like, hey, listen. I got this phone. This phone's $800. I give it to you for $650. It's a deal. Be like, man, brother, stolen. And I don't want it. Be like, I give it to you for $625. You're like, no, I give it to you for $10 in a bag of chips. Wait, what? He started by telling you, I'm not giving it away at all. Give me half. Go on and take it. It's all we can do.
Easy.
Go on and take it. Go on and take it. I'm putting these up today. I'm putting them up. You better be watching. You can't turn it off. You want to. I know some of you do. He's talking about him. Then what happens next? Here go Tater. I'm not gonna call him that. That's some other people's nickname for him. I don't just copy people's nicknames. You know, I don't think he's funny at all, to be honest. This is just damage at a 30th level. You get what I mean? When a man says, I don't even let Jackson's bills come across my desk, and the way we eat is by those bills, this is a bad man, mama, and I don't mean in a good way. But Jackson will not have majority control of water system as governor signs majority authority bill. Jackson, Mississippi, this is what Mayor Horn meant when he said, unlike the previous mayor, we're going to talk about this. Did y'all think when y'all bring up stuff, we're going to move away from it? Unlike the previous mayor, this is what Mayor Horn said.
You got people he knows.
Who always seems to be arguing with. Maybe he was so pleased when he said it, just looking like the little rat from American Tail. He was like, well, unlike the previous mayor who's always arguing with Tate, I've got a good relationship with him. Oh, you do? Well, golly, I can't tell. Give me all of it, Johnny. Get out the way. You knew what this was. This is where we are. And guess what? We put up articles, shout out We Believe Digital, right? For just having this type of background movement to make sure you can hear me and see it. Now our jokes don't seem funny anymore. You realize we laughing to get through the BS of it, to get through the fact we want to strangle somebody for selling us out like this. Now you see it. Article for article for article, and you can play this back and go back through those articles. And now you realizing your defense is weak. You can't tell your children, I just didn't know about it. God damn, they're putting articles up, honey. They know we know about it now. Yes. If you didn't know about it then, you know about it now. Walked you right into this man's hand. Walked you right into that man's hand. And look at him, he's ready, tapped in. Soon as he got elected. Remember when I told y'all yesterday? Tate didn't even wait to see his plan. You know, every man puts out a plan. He got elected, I think, it votes came in at 7:10. At 7:10 and 30 seconds, Tate was like, I can't wait to work with him. He's great. Dave Chappelle style. Something's wrong. I said, this about to be ugly. Yeah. Remember, I said, this about to be ugly. Tate's all jumping up and down with the white shoes on. I said, this about to be ugly. He's too happy, man. He's too happy. And next thing I saw was John and Jeff Good. That's when we started that Curious George. We say Curious George because he looks like I have a lot of children. So you're going to notice none of my references aren't meant to be insulting. They come from the fact I'm a father of 6 children. So Curious George popped in my head. The white man with the hat, and then the little monkey sitting next to him. Now, I would never say those things, but it's just what it looks like. It's what it looks like. See, I don't insult my people. I'll insult a plantation Democrat all day. There's a lot of people in our on city council, a lot of people that I have not made any. All I say is, brother, sister, do better. But John Horn has shown that either with the dude from Friday, either he don't know, he don't care, he don't give a what. That's John Horn. Doughboy, yeah, from not Friday, from Boys in the Hood, yeah. Man, maybe, and I'm not. Maybe he's out of it at best. But when you come from a family of unionizers, those are folks that have. Listen, his daddy, and I'm a union member. His daddy got connections through everywhere. Because in order to keep black men safe, you had to interact with that back in his day. You had to interact with that power structure. So that meant that you had to know the move makers and the shut. And so it just got lost. And you know that old saying, maybe we're watching it in motion. Strong men create easy times create weak men create bad times. Yep. And Mayor Horn is certainly a weak man creating very bad times for Jackson, Mississippi right now. The leaders of these institutions, when I shout out Pineywood, are certainly weak men creating very bad. When only 1% of the student body comes from the black areas, all these areas surrounding Richland that these slaves, our ancestors toiled in. You talking about you standing on land when you walk out there. And you got 1% of your students coming from their ancestors. But that school's fuel funded based on the fact that we're this great. Make it make sense, Jackson. Make it make sense, Mississippi. We're going to speak the honest truth every time. And I'm shocked that you would question the truth. What you think question the truth is going to bring? Less truth? Go and put some oil on that slide, KP. Let's throw it all on there. Shout out to the next one that wants to discuss it. Because you can tell us how information is wrong. You got cataracts. I'll go to the eye doctor tomorrow and see if maybe I got cataracts, because I saw it. What you saw? I'm being funny. Like the things we see every day. Oh, yeah. Maybe make us believe we can't see what we're seeing. But this water thing, and as we always are given a comfort zone, but let's start to land this here and hope that none of you all got too angry that some of your friends were being mentioned here, because I just mentioned some of my friends. And if they're true friends, they'll stand up and do what they're supposed to do, just like they'll tell me to do it, right? Let's talk about the fact that our city council is completely weaponizing incompetence. Right now, we have zero confidence that they're going to do their job. The only way Jackson is going to win at all is if we force them to do their job. So what they haven't told us is that with this new water authority, all that did was simply create a law that says we want a water authority to take over Jackson Water. In order for that to go through, the Jackson City Council has to actually accept the lease with this new water authority, right? So there's a few things that we can do because we still have a chance to stop this power grab. Always. Your city council is not telling you that. Your mayor is definitely not telling you that. He told you this was the best deal and he was going to shift that $200 million debt. Now that's out of there. He told you we want to have power and control. That's out of there. He told you that Ted Hennepin was his friend. That's out of there. I think he thinks Tate was his friend. That's out of there. And now they're trying to make you believe we can't stop it. So these are the steps you can take. Jackson City Council meeting on Tuesday, April 21st. If that meeting's not packed out the door, folks, then the world just says you just don't want it. It can't be I got to work or I got to go into school. Some of us do, and some of us can make it. So Tuesday, April 21st, you've got to be at the city council meeting. It's the regular meeting, but you've got to be there. You've got to reach out to your council, your city councilman, city councilwoman, and say to them, reject the lease. Period. Reject the lease and keep the water system Jackson's. Don't let them tell you, it's going to be a tough fight. Give back the $200,000 you earn in your lifetime, or reject the lease. And then when we move to the next step as a community, only those that have stood up for you before. We've been open with the fact that Mississippi Rapid Response Coalition, People's Advocacy Institute, ACLU has jumped in. There was no one speaking up for the city of Jackson except these parties we just mentioned. Mississippi's Poor People's Campaign, there was no one speaking up. I'd rather you run us off air, come us and run us in here before we ever let you sit here and be fickle and uneducated. It's in the docs, isn't it, dog? So for you not to understand who stood up for you when they were doing this to you. Those are the groups, the People's Advocacy Institute and the Mississippi Poor People's Campaign. Those are the groups that showed up to Judge Wingate with a lawsuit, an injunction, and said, we're going to impede on behalf of the people. And we demand that you show them. And you know what Judge Henry Wingate, the black Reagan-appointed judge from here, said? He said, y'all are racist. For whatever you think about the organization, he called the organization founded in part by Dr. Martin Luther King, the Poor People's Campaign. He called them racist. How could you? As a Republican judge appointed by Reagan. And you got black people in this city that shook his hand outside the courtroom and said, well, I grew up with him. Well, then you deserve what you're getting. Stop asking why your water so bad.
That's just Wingate, man.
That's just Wingate. Yeah, that's just your water then. That's just your school system. That's just your streets, dummy. Respectfully. And my father calling me now. Now, son, respectfully, you are a dummy. My father taught me to critically think, and dummy, go look it up. We no longer okay with our elder generation that the ones that do this, hurting us through your ignorance, simply because you've been on a train so damn long, you don't realize this changed courses. You teaching us tactics from 1913. No, boy, put your hands down, look at me now. Maybe you don't get your hand off me while I cock smack this book, just put his hands on me. What are you talking about? There's laws that we have to apply to today. So we've got to remove some of this older generation right out the way. And some of you don't like it, but you're in powerful positions. I don't care. Tap in. Don't get mad at me because I understand where the next level's at, and you don't. I understand that the youth deserve to be in front of me, and you don't. I understand that all I can offer is the experience in my losses, not wins in the future, and you don't. So therefore, you don't use your experience to motivate the younger generation. And now I understand why you say they're the problem. Because you don't know what to do with them because you've never tried. You run from them. You lock your doors. You look at them, look at them. And then as soon as your son or daughter gets caught up, you on there blubbering on TV, makeup running down, glasses, a man, just glasses sliding off your nose. And I'm thinking about certain people that worked hard against nonprofit organizations standing up for our people. Then when it happened to them, there's a woman whose son got locked up or something, got hurt in jail. And she was a straight laughing at every nonprofit movement. And then she had to come out, switch clothes so she looked different and start crying after her son was killed, unfortunately. And folks stood up for her son. Ain't nobody gonna make these children suffer for their stupid parents. Of course we stood up for your son. Yeah. But it's amazing, like that Spanish woman that was born, I will vote for Donald Trump. And then they deported her, I think, and half her community. It's that type of thing going on here. You can't say, I'm John Horn's friend. And he's running around doing this to us. So you've got to be there. Tuesday, April 21st, you've got to show up. And if you're asking yourself why, this is an educated audience in Jackson, period, no matter what network we're on. Why? So we don't want the board, first off, because the majority of the board is controlled by officials outside of Jackson. Okay, only a third of the members would be appointed by Jackson officials, even though we contribute 89% of the system revenue. I'm going to slow it down because people may say, well, why don't we want it? And you got people saying, I mean, what Gibbs say this was not a bad plan. You know, I didn't vote for it. It's not a bad, it's a horrible plan. It's a horrible plan. Horrible plan. So this is the plan. Let's stay in layman's term, KP. All right, KP. French fries cost $1. Right. You're going to put in 11 cents. I'm going to put in 11 cents, KP. You're going to put in 89 cents. That equals $1, right? You're going to get 3 fries. And I'm going to get the rest. You're going to put in all of the money.
All the money.
And you're going to get the least amount of fries.
But you got 11 cents.
That's right. That's the Mississippi Shuffle. The white slave-holding population of Mississippi didn't have a skill set to start with once they had to release enslaved Africans. So what they did was they took their little 11 cents and they started cheating black people. And that's the Mississippi Shuffle. And Governor Tate and the Republican GOP are doing it today. When you hear Governor Tate sit up and say, before I give them money to fix anything in their city, they got to put up cameras first. Well, where's that money going? Going right back into their general fund to sit there until that expiration and they can reuse it. They're doing the same thing today. Yeah. When you see this opioid money just came in and now everybody's mad because they're not. They're stealing the opioid money again and doing the Mississippi Shuffle with that.
Lynn Finch, where you at?
Lynn Finch, and they got Chief Brackney. I called out Hillman Frazier for this, but Hillman, when he was smiling and hugging up on
who?
Lynn Finch. Remember when I got him? Smiling there, looking like Bobby's World, respectfully, sir, but you shouldn't have been hugging up on her. Love you, but you shouldn't have been doing that. Maybe he didn't know, and get him out of there if he ain't supposed to be there. If, you know, your family got to come in there and help him, but he was sitting up there just cheesing. And get him, and sometimes that is the case. But now you got Chief Rashal Brackney from Pittsburgh. Now I'm a little lighter here, Chief Brackney. You know what you do, police bro, but still get a benefit of the doubt that perhaps you didn't know when you saw Lynn Finch who she was, if you're coming from Pittsburgh, right? Very well maybe. You know, she's a Mississippi person. But they got Lynn Finch in a picture hugged up. I'm talking about Titus Hillman Frazier. Hillman, you probably told her to do this. He got in a picture just hugged up with her, looking like she don't know who she is, like she's a regular person. And this woman's trying to take away every voting right that Chief Brackney, go look at her story. Go look at her story. She comes out of a marriage between a white person and a black person, and they had to move to a whole nother state to have the marriage performed because it was that racist where that side of her family was from. Chief Brackley talks about how that side of her family never even appreciated, and her white grandmother said, make sure none of my money goes to that black side of the family. So she understands this racism, and you got to sit up there hugged up with Lynn Fitch. Make it make sense, Jackson. You saw that information just come up. That is your city council member. If you have to rewind this, you go right up there, reach out to your city council member and demand today. Do not wait until you have your fun, your fish, your drink. Don't wait until you go out and enjoy it. Take 3 minutes to send an email or call them and just say, you'd better reject the lease on the water authority if you want to get back in office. Hang up. Love yourself as much as they love themselves, Jackson. We love you, but we're going to have to stand 10 toes down if we're going to do this together. That's the only time we're going to do it. Jump on our page at Make It Make Sense Jackson JSN for my co-host and myself, Tarek Abdul-Tawwab. Shout out to We Believe Digital. Continue to make it make sense, Jackson. We'll see you Monday, 90.1 at 4 o'clock. Yeah. Good morning. Sure.